Free agents hit the market, but who's buying? Join us to find out. Good morning. Welcome to the upper deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Chris. That's Lynn.
Hey, good morning, everybody. And what I now have dubbed the Sunday Morning Brew Crew are piling on in. So good morning, everybody. Hey, Lori. Hey, Uncle Tats. Jonathan, good to see you, man. Dev, how are you? NFE and FJ, ready to roll.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. And, it's been a pretty slow week in news, but the fun thing is, no matter how slow it is, there's always something to talk about. And there's always people in this chat room, which I appreciate, to talk about it with.
Absolutely. You guys, we have really, this show is hosted by as many people that are in the chat, plus Lynn and Chris. Let's be honest. So, and hey, Brad, good to see you. Hey, Ali. So nobody's throwing any logs on the fire the past week or so. Although, now with free agents being announced and the big thing about Yamamoto being posted on Monday, as of Tuesday, it's going to be a feeding frenzy.
Oh, yeah.
But, before we really dive in, because I know myself, let's talk the trivia question of the week. Let's put it up so that you have some time to think about it. And as usual, we'll put it at the end of the show. So from Spencer, our weekly contributor. But first, your weekly history lesson. As MLB fans eagerly await this off-season's free agent signings, notably Shohei Ohtani, who could command a contract eclipsing $500 million, let's go back to 1973, the 50-year anniversary of when George Steinbrenner bought the New York Yankees. Though George was vocal about preserving the reserve clause once free agency was implemented, he shattered the glass ceiling, agreeing a couple seasons later by enticing Catfish Hunter with an offer of over $100 million, the first of its kind. Barely 50 years earlier, Babe Ruth signed a contract with the New York Yankees for the magnanimous sum of $80,000. Wow, these SAT words on a Sunday morning, my God. Joe DiMaggio was the first six-digit salary domino to fall when he commanded $100,000, followed by Mickey Mantle in the 60s. The question is, who was the third player in New York Yankee history to garner a $100,000 contract, the first Yankee in Steinbrenner era? So who was the first Yankee to get a $100,000 contract from George Steinbrenner when he took over? Who was the third one?
That's an excellent question. Welcome, Ford Train Express. Come on in to the chat. This morning, Lori was just saying that she's celebrating. She's still basking inside coal, and I have to agree with her.
Me too.
Lynn, your reaction to the Cy Young Award?
Oh, my gosh. Well, it was, even though I felt like it was going to happen, just it's like waiting for the Academy Award announcement when I used to care about them. Like, right. You have your favorite, you're waiting. And I'm just so glad because he so deserves it.
Yes.
And, to be on such a short list in Yankees history of Cy Young winners, and we needed it.
Right.
We as fans needed this. Not as much as Cole did probably, but maybe close. And so it was really, really good. It was really good to see. And I see the guest.
It gives us a reason to hope for next year and something to build around. We got Judge, we got Cole, we got hopefully, some moves coming up, some free agent signings would be very welcome. Lynn, your favorite free agent right now?
My favorite free agent right now, well, um, uh, hmm. I really do need to think about that.
Okay, well, chat, tell us who your favorite free agent is. For me, it's definitely Soto. I'm sorry, Soto's a trade. It's not Soto. My favorite free agent. Um, I guess it would have to be a starting pitcher, and it would probably be Yamamoto, right? Because he's going to be
Yep,
a free agent.
yep. And
Sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot about.
And I was trying to get it clear in my head. So, I'm actually thinking about a DH.
Yeah.
Because we still are. First of all, we need a little bit more depth in the DH spot,
Right.
and we're also not all that clear on Stanton and his future.
Right.
And I think we'll get to that later. So I'm thinking Daniel Vogelbeck from the Mets.
Okay. That's interesting.
Designated hitter. Now I didn't check his numbers or anything, but to me that would be an easy trade. Just one train ride away. So I'd like.
Okay.
And I know we said nothing about infield. I'm more thinking from a DH perspective.
Right.
But
I'm sorry. Did I cut you off?
No, people are answering the chat. So Brad is saying Bellinger.
Okay.
And Yamamoto, for sure. And let's see who else said. And some guesses are coming in. So far, no one's right on the trivia question. I will say that no, I'm not going to give it away, but one of you is close by relation. Somebody's like in the building, but not in the right row yet. Okay, so Yamamoto, FJ is agreeing, Chris, that Yamamoto is the top FA. And so
I thought that perhaps today we could talk about free agents starting pitching and the available free agent starting pitchers. I've sort of highlighted some the ones that are at the top 10. So if we want to take a look at those, Yamamoto absolutely would be at the top of that list, I would say. He's a righty. He bested a Cy Young winner in Bauer as the top pitcher in the Japan League. So that's a pretty good indicator. He's 25 years old. He's short. He's 5'10", 126 pounds. So he's not a big guy. He played for the Oryx Buffaloes for 7 seasons. He's not a rookie by any means. He's a seasoned veteran. His 2023 stats in 23 games, he went 16-6 with a 1.21 ERA, 169 strikeouts, and 164 innings pitched. Let me know what you think, about Yamamoto's numbers. There's some things to know about him. I took a look at an article, but from David Allen at MLB.com, and he said he's won 3 straight Triple Crowns.
Wow.
Yeah. If anyone wants to say that Yamamoto doesn't know his way around the mound, I think he does.
The numbers would point to that.
Yeah. He's following in the footsteps of Sandy Koufax, Walter Johnson, and Grover Cleveland Alexander, who are the only MLBers to do it 3 times.
Wow.
To accomplish the Triple Crown. And he's won 3 straight Sawamura Awards. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's only the second pitcher in the NPB to do that, to accomplish that feat. Tanaka and Maeda each won the Sawamura Award twice, and that's the equivalent of the Cy Young Award in Japan.
Wow. And speaking of, FJ is saying, as crazy as it sounds, a 1-year prove it deal for Trevor Bauer is not a bad idea.
Well,
Yamamoto.
FJ, you're reading my mind.
Well, seriously, were you eavesdropping on Chris and me before we hopped on here?
I know. I think that you were looking at my notes, FJ, because I was going to move on to him next. Trevor Bauer is another righty. He's 32 years old. I was looking at an article on November 8th on MLB.com called Ranking the Top 10 Free Agent Starters. And Bauer's name, of course, does not appear in this article, not a mention of the former Cy Young and All-Star winner. Cy Young Award winner and All-Star. This year, Bauer was 10-4 for the Dana Bay Stars. He had a 2.76 ERA and 130 strikeouts. He was an NPB All-Star. So, Trevor Bauer, I think, should not be overlooked.
Well, and Chris, you were mentioning, although, FJ already heard this because he was eavesdropping on us. You were mentioning before we jumped on that Trevor Bauer did a gracious thing about the Cy Young win, right?
Right. He sent out a tweet congratulating Cole. That was nice.
Yep, and so a little goodwill and a little smart like bridge building, with the hope maybe he's hoping that he'll get a call from the Yankees and deal something out. So it might be a little bit strategic / gracious. And Uncle Tats is chiming in with he'll come with a lot of baggage. I'd let someone else give him a chance of redemption before looking at him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's interesting because one of the strikes against Bauer, people say he's a clubhouse cancer. And I could never understand that. But when he was signed with the Diamondbacks back in 2012, 2011, he was drafted 3rd overall in 2011 by the Diamondbacks and then traded to Cleveland in 2012. He had a rough go of it in the D-backs clubhouse.
Right.
But that being said, he's a Cy Young winner. I realized it was 2020, the pandemic year, but
Yeah. And I was looking through the list of the newly minted free agents, and there's a boatload of pitchers on that list.
Yeah.
So the Braves, for example, so 4 of theirs got turned over to free agency. You have left-handed pitcher Colby Allard. You have right-hander Yanni Chirones. You have, and I'm probably murdering names, sorry. You have right-hander Penn Murphy and left-hander Angel Perdomo and right-hander Michael Tonkin. So, I don't know how any of those are jiving with you guys.
Right. I don't really know any of the Braves pitchers. Those names aren't familiar to me, but I would certainly be interested in a Braves product.
Yep. And the Angels, right-hander Jose Marte is free agent now.
Okay.
So, and then there's others.
Right. We could talk about Blake Snell. He's a 30-year-old lefty, a multi-time Cy Young Award winner. His 2023 line, he was 14-9 with a 2.25 ERA. And the interesting stat about Snell is that he issued the most walks in the majors in 2023. I mean, he had that low ERA and those high walks. People did not cross the plate, though. When they got on base, they didn't score.
Well, he had a good team behind him.
No.
Lucky for that. Same can't be said for Cole, and that's why I guess part of the reason Snell was the runner-up.
Right.
Yeah.
He posted a 1.23 ERA over his final 23 starts. I think Blake Snell's an impressive starter, and I loved him when he was with Tampa Bay. He's continued to be very impressive. And the only thing about Snell, he has terrible career numbers in Yankee Stadium. Apparently, he's got a 5.77 ERA, and he's given up 11 homers in 12 starts in Yankee Stadium.
No, he'd have to be our road guy.
Yeah, I don't see Snell being the pitcher of choice. What about the chat? What do you think about Blake Snell?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it's a little pass on Snell from NFE.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'm guessing that silence means no.
Okay.
But
what about Aaron Nola? He's another 30-year-old righty.
Yep.
Since 2018, he's the first in MLB in starts and second in innings pitched to Cole. He's durable and he's out there and he takes the ball when it's his turn. He's got playoff experience. His 2023 line, he had a 4.46 ERA, a 12-9 record. He was, playoff experience. He was very good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So there's Nola. Sonny Gray, Yankee fans, tell me what your thoughts are on Sonny Gray. Look, he's 34 years old. It would be we'd be running it back again. But this time with a different pitching coach. And I would just say, I would say no to Sonny Gray myself because it doesn't seem like New York agreed with him.
Yeah, and NFE is Team Nola. He thinks he's solid. And we're getting hard nose from Jonathan, Laurie, NFE on Gray. The thing is, I would want to know the precise reason why there were two versions of Sonny Gray, a Yankee version and the other. And is there a formula that could be bottled and administered every fifth day to Sonny Gray if the Yankees acquired him so they could still be that? But I don't see it. And
that's a great point, Lynn.
And so, he's one of an army of guys we've talked about this past year that who the hell are these people? They're certainly not who we had. That just thing that makes them excel when they're gone.
Right.
So I wouldn't do a return on that.
The interesting thing about Sonny Gray this year, and I had to double take this stat, and if I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but I saw that he gave up only 8 home runs in 184 innings pitched, and that was an MLB best 0.9 per 9 innings. He was very effective in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Li is saying Josh Fleming.
Yeah. I wrote that name down to investigate Li because I don't know that name. Do you know that name, Lynn?
No, I know the name, but I can't speak to it at the moment. Nope.
Yeah.
And hey, Elliot, good to see you. Your trivia question has been posed. And spoiler alert, chat, there's one correct guess among you. So we'll announce that soon.
And the next free agent pitcher that I have on my list is Jordan Montgomery. Would Yankee fans want to see the Yankees reunite with Montgomery? I am going to say now that I think he signs with the Rangers. I think he's going to stay a Ranger.
I think the Rangers are going to do what they need to do to keep Monty.
I think so too.
And were that not the case, I'd have to go back on everything I just said about Sonny Gray and make a Lynn exception. And I'd open Monty back, I'd welcome him back with open arms and happy tears. And I know, and NFE is right with me on it.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, I would welcome Monty back. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Yep.
However, I don't believe that it's in the cards. I see Montgomery. I mean, the euphoria the success, I see that that the momentum of that could carry him into a Rangers career.
Yep, and Lori's saying the same thing by saying wherever he gets the most money. I think the
Well,
Rangers will double, triple down whatever they need to do to keep Monty happy. They got a ring in no small part to Monty and the depth he brought, and so yeah, I think this is a done deal. Sadly enough,
yeah.
And so what's Tat saying here? While the can't handle New York is a thing regarding Gray, it was more a Rothschild problem. I'd be curious how he'd perform under Blake. Tats, I think that's really valid. I think that Blake has a much different approach than Rothschild did. And Blake to all signs that I've seen and read, is more intuitive, more of a collaborator, more of a conversationalist, like really works with the pitchers as opposed to Rothschild, who, tried to erase motor memory of pitchers and have them, do exactly the precise things he wanted them to.
Right. Well, Rothschild, and I don't know if Rothschild was a product of a Yankee philosophy or if Rothschild was the creator of the philosophy, but he had them pitching, away from their fastball strengths, and that was the biggest complaint, I think, of several of the pitchers who left. But I always wondered whether that was a Rothschild problem or a Yankee pitching philosophy problem, that they took a cookie cutter approach to their pitchers and they said, fit this mold. And they just tried to separate the pitchers from their natural, especially someone like Sonny Gray. And I think Jordan Montgomery has made similar comments where he was pitching away from some of his strengths.
That's right. And I don't see Blake being fired yet. And Blake has shown the opposite. He's been all about expanding our arsenals and, strengthening things that, are starting to look good, that are coming more natural to guys. And so, yeah.
Yep. And also, I took a look at Eduardo Rodriguez from the Tigers. We all know him from the Red Sox. He's a lefty too. He's also 30 years old. His 2023 line, I guess he had some injury issues in 2023 too, but he was 13-9 with a 3.30 ERA, 143 Ks. What do you think about Eduardo Rodriguez? Would you welcome him with open arms? I tend to say no to Rodriguez as well. I know definitely would much rather see Yamamoto, Bauer, just about, I'd rather see Snell than Rodriguez.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's enough good names out there that, why look there. I do have a question about Yankee pitchers who are now free agents. We know that, Lou Trevino is off the table. But what about Abreu and Mishkowitz? Those are the others that are now free agents. I think the Yankees are going to release them. Does anyone think otherwise?
Right.
Yeah, and FJ's agreeing, pass on Erod. They can do better.
They can do better than Erod. I think it's going to be interesting to see along the same lines with that question, Lynn, what happens with Severino.
Well, that's an open question. And by the way, Jonathan saying he doesn't think any of the free agents return. I agree. I think that I think Sevy's time with the Yankees is done. I think that's actually to, excuse me for a minute, I'm a little preoccupied. I need to inform certain individuals in the chat that I am a former school principal and I do not tolerate any sort of disrespect dialogue going on here. We're a community of friends. Let's keep it civil.
Okay.
And now I'll return to just podcasting in a much better tone of voice.
Okay, good point, Lynn.
I think Sevi, I think it actually would be good for Sevi to find another home.
I agree.
And I don't think that he's done by any stretch of the imagination. But I think, hitting the reset button altogether. And I read recently, I don't have the source, that there are teams interested in him. So, I think he needs to.
I think Sevi needs a fresh start. And I'll be cheering for him wherever he lands, because I called him Ace. We were calling him the Ace a couple of years ago. Well, maybe not a couple. All right. Moving on, Marcus Stroman is a free agent. Pitched with the Cubs this year, another righty. He's 32 years old. He is his 2023 line. He was 10-9 with a 3.95 ERA and 119 Ks. He's a former Gold Glove winner and All-Star. His time with the Mets ended badly. He said, "I'm beyond thankful I'm gone from that organization," when he left the Mets.
And Marcus Stroman doesn't strike me as a Yankee at all. We do a lot of talking about character as much as we do stats and accomplishments, etc. But I don't think Stroman is it. And Eli is saying, Lori's saying no to Stro. Oh, I need that on a picket sign. No to
yes.
Hey, Patsujo, good to see you. Thanks for being back here with us. And so there's been a certain trio of players that have been on the feeds across Twitter lately, and I'm gonna just put this little ditty up here from Bobby Malone. So this picture would add the love Hal wants. It would bring juice back to the Yankees as the evil empire, and it would still be about 40 million less than the 2023 Mets. So we've talked about all of these guys individual, but really, chat, friends, I ask you, is this possible? Do you really see this getting all three of these guys? And would Bellinger be strictly the stopgap for Dominguez? And if not, what would happen to Dominguez? And we've talked about this in various forums across the show, but across the weeks. But what do you guys think here? All three of them, we're being kind of greedy, aren't we?
I'll believe it when I see it, Lynn.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not really on the Bellinger bandwagon, though. If they end up acquiring Bellinger, I'll certainly celebrate that. But I think he's got a ways to go to prove that he's a consistently good offensive player, and he's had some rough years. Well, what Bellinger are you getting? Hopefully he could run back 23, but you can never tell.
Yep, absolutely. You can't ever tell. You can't even tell when you think you're getting like the surest of things on paper.
I know, exactly.
And Li, thank you. Oh, look, I put Lori up here because she mentioned Kiermaier, Chris, just for you.
Ah, my man Kiermaier.
So Li,
I just want to wrap up the starting pitching free agents. Shoto Imanaga is another Japanese pitcher available. I think it's very interesting that three of the top pitchers available free agents this fall are from the Japan League. He's a 30-year-old lefty. He's a little older than Yamamoto. He beat Team USA to win the WBC Gold. He's a very interesting pitcher. In 22 games, he went 7-4 with a 2.80 ERA. That's Shoto Imanaga, another Japanese player to keep in mind. And another free agent pitcher out there hanging around is Lucas Giolito. I've been looking and watching Giolito for years. I just love his game. Unfortunately, he didn't have a good 23.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's received Cy Young votes in 2019, 2020, and 2021. He's always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Oh, okay. So time for him to be a bride.
Yeah, time for maybe that's the case. He was 8-15 in 2023 with a 4.88 ERA, and after he was traded to the Angels and the Guardians, it got worse. And he just didn't have a good end of the year. He needs a change of scenery. He would probably benefit from being traded. I don't know that not traded, from being signed. I don't know that I would sign him for the Yankees. What do you think, group? Lucas Giolito.
NFE is saying that if they don't get Yamamoto, then they should look into him as a possibility.
Yeah, I really think he's got good stuff. And the last one on my list, last but not least, Clayton Kershaw. I know that Clayton Kershaw is not going to be a Yankee. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be a Dodger, and I would say he's going to retire a Dodger. But with his back problems, he's like rolling the dice. He's a gamble.
Yeah. Yep. And everyone's agreeing on that as well. So wow, that was a really good rundown on the pitching landscape. Who knows where we're going to land? A few shows ago, we were saying, oh, Yamamoto will not want the West Coast. I read this week that, well, no, it seems like he would be interested in the West Coast and in the East Coast. And, if the Mets get him, think about, all the drama that would create, because we would have, Judge and Cole on one side of the city and Yamamoto on the other, and the Subway Series will be reborn again. I don't know about all that, but and Tats is saying Kershaw he's agreeing that Kershaw is forever a Dodger. And Brad, by the way, that was me. And yeah, we're all commenting his Pinstripe Chronicles podcast. Li had corrected me earlier, because Tats and Chris know what I mean when I said I pulled a Tom Brokaw just now. I'm very famous for having a person and a name in my head and something else coming out of my mouth, and then it's too late, and it's in history. Thanks for that correction. And switching gears real fast, just for fun, I wanted to share one more tweet, and before we wrap up here. So, and it really features the most lovable guy around. You'll see his picture, so get ready for your hearts to melt. And perhaps we'll sing Kumbaya together.
Oh, God, man!
Look at that handsome son of a gun. And those kind eyes. And you just know what he's thinking is, what can I do to make us the best franchise again? Well, okay, so not really. Here's 4 things that Postparm Volpe wants. Sign Yamamoto like the rest of us want. 7 years, $200 million. Trade for Soto. Sign a center fielder until Dominguez comes back. And sign Brett Gardner to a 1-day deal for a proper salute. So I beg of you, I ask of you, which of these are possibilities? None of the above, all of the above, or is one of them a possibility?
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Chat, do you think Gardy, for example, should have that his day of recognition in Yankee Stadium? I mean, maybe he could have a plaque or something. What do you think? Gardy, does he deserve to be feted in Yankee Stadium?
Jonathan, I love you. I love you just for many things, but I love you forever for that. I know it's not going to happen, but just saying it made my year.
Right.
And yeah, he would for 1 year, for one little year. Um, and Tats, I don't know what you're saying absolutely to the Cashman dumpster diving or Gardy coming back. So give yes, and Li is saying give him his send off. And
Yeah. He's
FJ,
a champion. He's the World Series champion, for God's sakes.
Guardian center field. You had me at the first sentence, and then you lost me at the second. FJ, the sublime to the. Could we really say that it would be ridiculous given the the show we had this past season? I don't know.
Right.
No, Spencer, nobody uttered the words retire number 11. I agree. Absolutely not. That's not what, first of all, we need a bigger stadium as it is. And no, we don't. Not that. But he has been, he was a career Yankee, a team leader, an excellent outfielder, and he deserves some form of acknowledgement. And so he never officially retired. The Yankees, for all intents and purposes, seem to be doing the Bernie Williams thing on him. And let's just bring him back, give him a nod, give him an applause, perhaps a bobblehead, and and that's all we're saying.
Right.
So and that's all post Parm Volpe was saying.
And I feel like Gardy is unfinished business. He just left like Bernie. Time to tie that off, in a nice, neat little bow.
That's right. Yep. I think he deserves it. And I know not everyone, there's sort of, a mishmash of feelings about Gardy, because was he that power batter? Absolutely not. Was he a clutch hitter? Absolutely.
Yes, he was.
Did he have high baseball IQ at the plate? Absolutely. Check his base on balls numbers. And was he clutch on the bases? Yeah. Well, he had the speed, and check his stolen bases numbers too. So,
and he was a hell of a left fielder. He won Fielding Bible Awards in left field. I don't know if he won a Gold Glove there, but he won a Fielding Bible Award. I know that.
Right.
And I'd have to look it up.
And thanks, Tats. Yeah. So even Keith McPherson pointed out that there hasn't been a legit left fielder since Gardy. Yep. So yeah, he'll have a Gardy and Spencer. You're absolutely right. And he's saying it's like Mickey Rivers, and Lord knows Rivers is revered to this day. Look at Mickey Rivers. All he is a regaled retired New York Yankee. Yep, but he's a part of history, and so will Gardy be.
Right.
But let's So that was just an opportunity for me to lobby some Gardy love. I think we know where everyone stands about the first three. We know that that's our trifecta wish list for now. Mick the Quick, Lori. And I was so blessed to watch him play as a kid. So, and so speaking as a kid, let me give the answer to the trivia question of the week. Don't get dizzy, everybody. I just scrolled fast. So for those of you that are just joining, it's there for you to read. I'll hum 2 bars of Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do. Okay. So the question was, who is the third player in New York Yankee history to garner a $100,000 contract? The first Yankee in the George Steinbrenner era. And I'm about to share the answer. Congratulations to Lori, who got it correct. And this happens to be one of my top 4 favorite Yankees of all time. And here he is. Oh. And here's the answer. I was trying to reveal it.
Excellent.
Bobby Mercer, who helped 6 other Yankees before reporting to spring training. That was a great question.
Right, Lori.
Thank you. And yes, Mercer was one of the best. Another iconic Yankee who doesn't have his number retired. Well, first of all, it's there, number one, but not for Mercer. And so, thank you. Excellent question.
Excellent question.
Great job, Lori. You the woman.
You're the woman. Hey, you guys, we love you in the chat. We can't tell you how much we appreciate your participation every week and coming in and giving us something to talk about and somebody to talk about it with.
And as always, you'll have a reserved seat with Chris and me right here on the upper deck. Throw some logs on the fire, and we'll catch you at the hot stove next week.
All right. Go Yankees.